Warning: the following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
And a pleasant good evening, and we welcome you to, I don't know, what episode of the Coach's Box is this, Zach? I've lost count. I think 158?
I guess this is the Zoom episode.
Yeah,
Part two.
episode number 2. Zoom episode number 2. So, glad to have him.
I think we might want to call it the zoo episode because it's been like a zoo to get on here. So, I mean, you know, Blair's always screwing something up.
Let's leave Blair alone. He's not feeling good, but no, glad to see everybody. We're on Zoom tonight because it is the first week of fall practices and everybody running around with their head cut off and all that stuff. I'm Jim Powers and glad to be back with the boys here. And by the way, guys, I just want to thank you guys for last week and the tribute you guys did to my better half's dad who passed away. And we were all sitting here at the kitchen table with her family and we were watching it. And, just the look on their faces and just, it was so cool. So from Ann and her family and myself, thanks for doing that last week. It was really cool to honor Ann's dad like that. So, but, Zach McVey here, Jason Jarvis here, Chris Miller, it's his mom's birthday. So they are celebrating the birthday tonight. So happy birthday to Mama Miller and Halley.
Happy 29.
Kevin's doing Kevin stuff with softball, trying to figure out how he's going to hose Rosati Kane in the Jamboree here in a couple weeks. And I've already had discussions about that. And Blair's not feeling good. So it's going to be the three of us tonight, boys.
I'm thinking Blair might have what Weston has, man. It sounds about the same. So, yeah, I spent the night at the hospital last night till 2 a.m. Fun times. But I'm here as usual. I wasn't here last week. I was on vacation. Yeah, I still collected my $20 Powers. But
hey, what we could do?
It's already been thrown out there that the reason I haven't driven past the Merrimack is because I owe you a 20. I got the 20. In fact, I'm going to give you the credit card. All right, there we go.
I was going to say we'll call this the PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay episode.
I got the credit card machine in my golf bag. I'll take anybody that you got, any credit card. I'll even take a gas card if you got it. So
well, you can see where I'm at. I'm down here where it all started in the wonderful Jarvis basement. I would flip my camera around, show you there is no hole anymore. And some jackwad from the former production company was showing my hole, and I was a big fan of it. So, yeah, we're down here in the basement. Terrellyn and Weston are upstairs. Hopefully, you won't have to hear them any because I don't have any headphones.
No.
So
I hope Weston's feeling a lot better, buddy. And little dude, I'm sure. And you may be right. Blair may have the same thing that Weston has. You never know. So, all right, let's get into it. Zach, you've been putting the topics together, so let's jump into it. Roll with it, my friend.
Well, you guys kind of right off the bat wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in Baltimore. And I got to say, I think journalists or not, everybody that I've heard, whether it's on the radio, whether it's, at work, whether it's online, social media, are just absolutely bashing Baltimore with how they've handled the situation with their, if you want to call it their color guy the other day at the ball game. Apparently facts do care about feelings, or feelings care about facts, because you can't say things like that on TV anymore. So, I mean, Jarvis, just tell us, what your thoughts were about a guy doing his job. And
here's the biggest thing with me on the whole deal. The graphics were up, and he was basically just saying what the graphics were showing. So Orioles management needs to get on to the production team. Exactly. And you can't fire or I guess I'm sorry, suspend, but evidently this is going to go. He'll get a job somewhere else. But he's good at what he does, and I don't even know the dude. Just by listening to that clip, I was like, I thought it was great. He was just pointing out facts. If you look at dude, it's all over TikTok, it's all over Twitter, X. Boy, I bet Pius likes that. Oh, Twitter X. But I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. These people have no skin, none. We as coaches have to have all kinds of skin, but an owner, $1 million guy that has no worries compared to me, and he's worried about an announcer saying they suck. They did suck. He didn't even say suck. He said it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It was a positive. I looked at it like it was a positive affirmation of how
I agree.
Baltimore has been improving, and look at what they have done in the past against the Rays, but look at what they're doing now. Like it's showing improvement. It's showing
everything he did was a positive. He put it. Yes, he talked about those were facts. It wasn't like he was. Baltimore was bad. I mean, let's be real. The Cardinals are bad right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They suck. And I think Marmal sucks, and that's a whole other subject. But I can never be a broadcaster because I get fired. But dude, and all the people saying, you could see so many national people supporting him.
Here's the thing, and okay, you can go ahead and say it right now, Jarvis. When I say this, working in TV and calling games, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. But in all seriousness, in working, on TV, when a graphic comes up, if you're the play-by-play guy, and Kevin Brown is who we're talking about, he's the play-by-play voice for the Orioles. He does a ton of work. He does a boatload of work for ESPN. He calls the daytime games for the college softball World Series. He does basketball for them. I mean, he is one of their young rising stars. He's only 33 years old.
So he's basically, he's kind of like the Dan McLaughlin of Baltimore.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. When you see a graphic, when you got that director in your ear, and that director says, okay, here's the graphic, you're reading that graphic. So if Peter Angelos has an issue, it should not be with the play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
You better turn your attention to your production people and NESN, because they're the ones that put the graphic up. They build those types of graphics up 3 hours before a game. And you know where they got those stats? The Baltimore Orioles game notes that their own PR people wrote.
That's insane. The whole situation's insane.
I thought, listening to Danny Mac today on the radio, he brought up a really interesting point that we hadn't really considered, is the fact that Baltimore has been so bad for so long that maybe ownership or whoever doesn't know how to deal with actual winning. And so maybe that there was this,
I heard that segment too.
This perception and how do you actually deal with success? Because I mean, that's rings true even at the high school level. I mean, we say, and Chris says this all the time about, hey, act like you've been there before. But if you haven't, and if Baltimore hasn't for a while now, it kind of makes sense to where, hey, you ruffle a little bit of feathers, but what does that say about you as ownership? What does that say, front office, about, you're you're going to do this. I thought Danny Mac saying that was pretty interesting, concept to think about.
But here's the thing too, and Jason, you said it a minute ago. The outcry from everybody. I mean, we're talking everybody across the nation. The one big thing that somebody said.
Probably hear mine too at some point.
Yeah, I did earlier, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Jim.
One of the guys was, one major league executive made the comment, said, "You know what? Baltimore doesn't want this guy. There's 29 other teams that'll hire that guy in an absolute heartbeat, and he'll be working next year." And they hit it right on the head. I mean, once again, this poor dude is just getting killed by the Orioles, but the positive that's coming out of it, on the other side of it, this guy's going to have a job for the rest of his life for as long as he wants to be in broadcasting, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid, like, certain people down in Cincinnati that say stupid things when they're on the air. Not going to get into that one, but anyway, so.
Well, it's crazy to me. I mean, I get what you're talking about when you're a program that hasn't won in a long time, and I say that a lot too. Like, Chris, hey, act like you've scored a touchdown before, or act like you made a 3-pointer before, or hey, act like you've won a big game before. We had to do a little bit of learning the last couple of years. Not that we've been winning championships or whatever. I mean, we went from winning not double-digit games to winning double-digit games for a year. And some of those kids had to learn, oh, well, hey, yeah, I got to win, but I got to learn how to win with class. And I just, when I listened to it, I was just like, and you've probably seen it on Twitter and on TikTok and all kinds of stuff. I had to listen to it like 3 or 4 times. I was waiting for the F word. I was waiting for something crazy. And I listened to it, and I listened to it again. I'm like, he's in trouble for that? That was reporting. That was his job.
It's journalism.
Yeah, I mean,
it was non-biased journalism. We haven't had that in a while. It was non-biased journalism.
And he's getting the info from the Orioles PR department.
I know.
So if you're going to fire anybody, Peter Angelos, go down the hallway and get your director of communications. Here's where you're going to start if you want to start opening up Pandora's box like this.
It reminds me, I saw this on a meme or on Facebook today about Carson Wentz and the picture he's throwing an interception, and he got 80 million from Philly, and then he got another 28 from Washington and got another 20 some from Indy. And all I could think of is, and I replied this back and said, well, there's a lot of people in the NFL that are dumb if you're willing to do that. And it's kind of the same thing here. Like, the higher ups, whether it's the owners, whether it's the front office. I mean, I guess just because you're rich doesn't mean that, common sense doesn't exactly prevail. I don't know. It's just, you would think in a situation like this that, I don't know.
Oh, good. My wife's home. She can take care of the dog. But yeah, it's just common sense you would think. I mean, what? I don't know. I'm still in disbelief that he is suspended for this, and indefinitely suspended. I hope he's getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. But what about this, guys? You have the best record in the American League right now. Why would you want to put anything negative on your team that is having the year?
Because of what he just said. What he just said. They're not used to winning. They don't know how to handle winning. Obviously.
Peter Angelos is an idiot. I mean, with some of the things that he has done with that organization since he took over.
Hey, tell us how you really feel, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, put it this way. The lack of sleep and being hungry has really kicked in right now. So there it is. Crazy.
Maybe if Blair was here, if Blair was here, we could teach him a little geography lesson, because Baltimore is pretty darn close to Washington, D.C., and so maybe there's something in the water over there that all those front office people, and the owners, they're out of their minds right now.
Blair would be like, what do you mean? Washington's on the West Coast.
Hey, speaking of Washington, I mean, we're going to get into this later. What's Washington State? Holy moly. Everybody else, they're just, the four left. And I mean, we can talk about that, when we come back from commercial break.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up Bieniemy and how he's being run.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wait,
hold on, though. I
I
have to say this, though.
Tyreek Hill took up for him big time.
I know he did. By the way, I don't really think Blair's sick. I think Blair's over in Benton, Illinois, trying to get on TV because they're shooting that Bravo. They shut that Bravo thing over there. I think Blair's over there trying to get on TV.
Hey, it doesn't have Pool White Trash in the title, so he's out.
Crappy Lake, ladies and gentlemen.
He's probably bad because I spent my vacation down there, and I felt like I could do whatever I wanted here. I'm in Illinois. I can do whatever I want. I mean, you should see me driving the boat on the lake and everything. I was like, woohoo, no rules in Illinois.
Don't need that orange flag in Illinois.
Nope. Doesn't matter. Oh my gosh. Blair. Ugh.
We miss you, buddy. Anyway,
I didn't say that. But go
before we go into break, I mean, tell us what's going on with Washington, with the Commandos over there and Bieniemy. Suppose
players are complaining about getting coached hard. I want, all I want to say is, and I would love, we got to do this. I really need to talk to Coach Holman. We need to get him on the show. But if they're crying about Bieniemy, they would have never made it through a Festus practice back in the 90s with Coach Holman. They wouldn't have. And Coach Holman, I respect that man more than probably many people I've met in my entire life. I mean, I seen him do some things. I was like, if I did them as a coach, fired. And not that they were bad. It was just different. And if Tyreek Hill's taking up for him, that makes me really think that, man, there's some players that are being wusses here.
Soft.
Well, they've got how many million reasons why to be soft.
Have you been watching anything going on in society lately? You're talking about soft.
Here's what I want to know. Here's my thought. You got a two-time champion coach that's coming in. He's trying to change culture. He's, offense with Washington's been a problem. You're trying to change culture. You're trying to build up. And that's what you do in the first week or second week of the season of training camp. Coach, it's too hard. It's too hard.
Well, no wonder you're losing. If you can't take a little coaching, and we tell our kids all the time, and at Hergy, it's nothing personal. I love all the kids I coach. I mean, Most of the time I love them all, but I'm going to get on you. I mean, you're going to get coached up, and you got to learn that it's not personal. It's I see something in you that you may not see in yourself, and I'm just trying to get it out of you. And man, I'll tell you what, I had a Coach Brown. He was our D coordinator in college. I played at Central Methodist, and he was our defensive coordinator. And dude, he would get in you. And I needed it. Like, he made me want to play. I needed it. Some people can't handle that, but it's he has all the accolades. I know he had a great quarterback in Kansas City, but if you talk to any of those Chief guys, they love him.
Oh,
Kelsey, all of them.
They would give a kidney for that guy. They would. I mean, literally. I mean, that's how much respect Bieniemy had. But Jason, you're right. But here's the thing, and the three of us know it. The culture has changed since we played in high school, we played in college, to where it is right now. Coaches back then could call you every name in the book and get away with it and be able to do it. Now, you say one wrong even phrase. You don't even have to swear. You say one wrong phrase. Next thing you know, you're getting that phone call to the superintendent's office saying, "Okay, we're letting you go because blah blah blah." And you try and push the kids hard. And
I wonder why we're having a shortage on coaches. You having a shortage? Are you struggling at AD over there to get coaches?
I still need to hire 2 for winter and spring. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. What's the spring opening? I don't do anything in the spring.
Hey, come on up and coach lacrosse there, big boy.
Oh, well, never mind.
I thought it's going to be soccer.
Oh, no. No soccer.
Hey, lacrosse is a little physical.
Girls lacrosse. I'm telling you, girls lacrosse, those kids get after it a little bit.
We got some girls in Herky that play Fox, the Smith girls, and I mean it seems like it's a rough sport. I'm glad we brought up Bieniemy because that reminds me of something. I know this ain't on the script there, Zach, but
tonight we don't really have a script, so anyway, go ahead.
Well, you know how I am. It doesn't matter if we have a script, but I do look at it. But anyway, Travis Kelce mic'd up at Chiefs camp. Did any of you guys see that?
Yes.
I just hear he's no longer Travis Kelce. He thinks he's Mike Tyson or something.
No. What did he call himself? He's got a mustache and he calls himself. What is it? Dude, it was hilarious. The whole mic'd up thing with him, dude.
That punch he threw the end zone was awesome.
Well, that wasn't what I was even talking about. This is just the segment of him mic'd up.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! If you haven't seen it, you got to look it up. It is hilarious.
Speaking of punches, and yes, I'm going off script now. What about Ramirez from Cleveland and Tim Anderson from Chicago? Tim Anderson, yes, I'm the next Jackie Robinson. Yeah, you got laid out by a right hook, brother. Laid out and go away.
Well, in Anderson's defense, Ramirez was just throwing.
I just say he didn't see it. Yeah. He didn't see it himself.
No, but Anderson's the one that squared up.
Both of them. It was like they paused and like, yeah, we're going to do this.
Have you
heard? It's like a hockey fight. We're going to drop the gloves.
Have you heard the Cleveland announcing version of it?
Oh, Tom Hamilton was priceless.
Down goes Anderson.
Tom Hamilton. And Hamilton was calling the Indians games when I lived back in Ohio. And I loved listening to him. But when I heard him say, "Down goes Anderson," I'm like, yes, that's awesome.
Oh, it was great.
Okay. What happened, transpired before
he was
that?
mad about Ramirez's slide, I guess.
Ramirez slid in a second. Anderson straddled the base. Okay. Made the touch to the bag, made the throw to first.
He got hit in the...
Yeah, when Ramirez popped up, he may have caught him, and
Cojones.
Yeah, the M sack,
the jewels.
But the next thing you know,
we could go a whole segment on that. But go ahead.
Exactly. But they squared up, and then Anderson. It took like 8 people to get him into the dugout. He came back out.
Oh yeah, because it started up again.
Because then somebody just picked him up and literally threw him down the steps in the dugout, and that's when it finally settled down.
I couldn't believe how knocked out he was.
So my question is,
he was punch drunk. He was punch drunk when he got up after that shot.
So that makes me wonder: would he pass MSHSAA protocol for concussion?
No.
Nope. He would absolutely be out for a 7-day time period and have to do baseline testing once again.
When I heard the announcers, though, that said it so much better. I could not stop laughing at him. Down goes Anderson.
Look, both of them, they squared up, and it was like waiting for a referee to say fight. I mean, they.
Well, and Ramirez is falling down. He's not even looking. His head's like this. Wha-bam! I mean, just caught him. And Anderson, you can just see he folds like a fiddle. I mean, like a what are you gonna? What is it?
Lawn chair.
You know what I'm talking about.
One of those folding chairs. Boom.
Well, I was talking about the xylophone.
Oh,
No,
the
Oh, it's
accordion.
xylophone.
Thank you.
Accordion. There it is.
Xylophone. Nah. Yeah. Been a long day, long night last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I tell you what, Zach, segment number 1 in the books. Why don't you take us to a break, and we'll come back and talk a little college football realignment and the first week of high school practices.
All right. Well, you are watching the Coach's Box. Stick around.
I'm a tailgater tailgating to get to my tailgate. Now, it might not get me there any faster, but hey, it gets me ready for football. Let's tailgate.
I can't go anywhere.
But you're so busy watching me tailgate that you don't see the one in front of you. And your cut rate car insurance, it might not pay for this. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Hey guys, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks, personally inviting you and your family to come check us out. We've taken over ownership back in September. We've made some great positive changes, got the same legacy wings, got some amazing pizzas, some awesome burgers, hamburgers provided by Kenrick's. We'd love to have you down. Come check us out. The beer's cold, the air conditioning's working, and we're looking forward to seeing you all. Take care.
For 24 years, really enjoyed being a basketball coach. When I retired from coaching, I decided that I wanted to get back into the media world. I look at it from more of a coach's point of view. I love to showcase guests. I love to tell their stories, not just locally and regionally, but nationally as well. Joe Namath, Kurt Warner, Patrick Ewing, Katie Smith. Not just talk about their accolades, but what they have given back to the game, what they've given back as leaders in their community. And I want people to be able to listen to my show and to be able to take that into their life. They're going to be able to live their life like a champion. That's a show right there that I feel like is worth listening to.
Everybody, and we welcome you back to the Coach's Box. Jim Power, Zach McVey, Jason Jarvis joining you here on the episode. We don't know what number, but it's Zoom episode number 2 for this year. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
And a boom,
And a
boom.
boom, right?
I was waiting for somebody to jump in on
And
that.
a boom, boom.
That's what we grew up to. So
heck yeah. Skating rink, baby.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about
Spinning
it.
wheels.
Spinning wheels, baby.
All right. So,
Mr.
Zach,
Crow
what are we
throwing
going to
me
start
in the
off?
box.
What are we going to start first? Are we going to start with college or are we going to start with high school?
Let's
decide.
Let's do college. We waited around last week for Jarvis to kind of talk a little bit about this. You've got some conference realignment happening basically all across coast to coast. And I think that's part of the issue is the fact that it's affecting coast to coast. And so if you haven't heard, there's been some realignment collegiately in football. The Pac-12.
Hell, if you haven't heard, you've been living under a rock for the last 10 days.
The Pac-12, that's been a conference well over 100 years, is basically no more after not next season, but the season after. You've got several schools that are going to go to the Big Ten, even some talk on some going either to the Big 12, even some other going to the ACC. And so you're left with, hey, turn out the lights, pay the bill. You've got Washington State, Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal. And those are going to be the only four left in the Pac-12. And so what are they going to do? Are they going to add other teams, out of maybe the Mountain West or whatever? Or are they going to try and go some other conference? Who knows? But the landscape of college football is definitely it's changing. It's changed.
Go ahead, Jason. All four. I mean, they're kind of screwed right now. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do.
Really, in my mind, and I know the ACC is making a play for Stanford and Cal because of the academics.
Mm-hmm.
That the alignment, which they align pretty good with. But the ACC has their own issues because you got a Florida State the athletic department who is basically said to the ACC, change the revenue share or we're out. And they're not going to change the revenue share. That's not going to pass by the presidents and the athletic directors.
Is Florida State mad because they probably bring in a lot of the revenue?
They bring in a lot of money, and then when you look at the Dukes of the world and the NC States of the world, and Miami a few years ago when they were just god awful horrible. Yes, Mike Noland, I said that.
Mike
they are
a Miami fan.
Yes, Noland's a Miami fan.
Good to know. Next time I have him as a ref.
There you go. But no, they think that they deserve more money. Clemson deserves more money. Virginia Tech deserves it. Forget it. It's not going to happen. Any conference that you are in, the TV revenue and all that gets split evenly amongst all the teams. That's the way it is.
Well, you know what? I think Virginia Tech, just because of their intro with Enter Sandman, should get extra money because that is that is one of the baddest intros to a game ever. It is awesome. I mean, I want to go to a Virginia Tech game just so I can be there. I mean, Metallica is one of my favorite bands anyway. I'm a metalhead, but I love it. Oh, it's so awesome. But anyway, it's a college. I'm going to say this, and it's going to be hard for me to say, McVey. I'm with you on this. Yep, I'm with you.
Oh, hold on. Mark this down. It is.
Hey, me and McVey, we get on a lot of things. So we're history teachers, man. So I mean,
Hey, I remember whatever episode it was at La Pachanga, and I had the PowerPoints, and you all laughed, and I said, "This is what needs to happen."
And that's basically what's happening.
I was there that night, and you were correct.
Wow. Powers was there?
It was a long time ago.
Okay. He's probably a guest. He's probably, hey, we're bringing big time guests. Dan McLaughlin.
When I wasn't
we're bringing him. we We needed extra views.
Oh my God.
So here's my question. I get your guys' opinion. So now, what are you going to do about the college playoff? Because you're going to have 12 teams, and listening today, they said they were going to have the 6 conference champions. They get the automatic bids, and then you're going to have 6 other at-large bids. Well, the
So you're going to have
Pac-12
six conference champions and 6 SEC schools. I mean, what?
But now, if you're the Pac-12 and you're all but dissolved, if you bring in all of the Mountain West schools, is that a Power 5 conference? So
that's not going to happen.
So now the college playoff system is messed over before it ever even gets a chance to go to 12 teams.
There's so much that is a mess right now in college. I mean, you got the NILs. I mean, it's just an absolute mess.
Transfer portal's a joke. And
guys switching every year. Guys have switched 3 years in a row. I mean, what are we teaching? This is totally off subject. What are we teaching these kids? It gets hard, quit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Jim, you had brought up what Drink had said. I'll say this. All right. I can see both sides of the coin, because think about it. You're an adult. Your job is to have an occupation. If you don't like where you're at, you can always go get a new job. You can go someplace else. Why is that wrong if you're the student athlete? And I mean, the Fab Five way back in the 90s, they're like,
oh yeah,
you're making all this money off of me, not the school, me. It's my jerseys, it's my shoes, it's my black socks, it's my culture and new trends, and I'm not getting a cent off of it.
Oh, come on, baggy shorts, bro. That was
baggy shorts, all the whole thing. Baby. It's a revolution, and they didn't get paid for it. They didn't compensation, nothing.
All 5 of them got paid afterwards, but go ahead.
Oh, they were probably getting paid during.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly.
Right, but officially they weren't. But so I can see, just from the standpoint of, if I'm not going to play, or if I'm going to have to redshirt, you make promises to get me here, and now all of a sudden you don't hold up your end of the bargain. Why am I the bad guy if I want to go to another school where I can play, or go somewhere where they're going to actually fulfill promises, NIL or what have you?
Right. And let me go back to what Drink said. And I like Drink. I hope they win. I hope they can get over
7
the hump.
games.
I don't think it'll happen this year, but I think
7 games.
5. Shut up, Jarvis.
7.
5.
Almost
that will be 7. The next topic of discussion. Their schedule when they only win 5 games. But anyway, what he said made perfect sense. They're not looking, the teams that are leaving, USC, UCLA, they're looking at football and basketball, because that's the moneymakers.
Heck yeah.
They're not looking at the other sports. You got a softball team.
Who cares about the softball team?
A lot of people do.
Not enough. Not 200 million.
But I'm going to
$200 million in softball.
I get it, but I understand what what's being said right now. And Lane,
I understood what Drink was saying too. I'm trying to be devil's advocate here.
Oh, I get it.
I mean,
but here's the thing, though:
football and basketball make the money, man. I'm sorry, the rest of the sports suck. Sorry,
but I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what's going to happen? There's going to be Title IX filings. It's coming. I guarantee you, it is coming in the next 2 to 3 years, because you're going to see some programs that are going to have to either cut back, fold. Schools are going to have to cut programs. And where are they going to cut? They're going to start cutting the sports that are the non-Olympic sports, the non-revenue sports that don't bring in a lot of money. That's when you are going to get Title IX filings all over the place. And when that happens, Kitty bar the door right now, because those schools are going to lose a lot more money, because people that file those suits are going to win. those two.
So here's my question to you guys, and you discuss this. Why, as a college, why do you have to have all of your sports in the same conference? So wouldn't the easiest answer to all of this that solves all of the problem is that football becomes its own entity, and you have your Oregon, and you have all of these sports, all of these athletics. We're only going to involve football that's going to move conferences. The Pac-12 can still be the Pac-12 and everything but football. Why is that? Why is nobody discussing that? If Notre Dame can still play football and not be associated with the conference, but then they can join, what is it, the Big East or the ACC or wherever they're at.
No, they're in the Big East for every other sport but football, because they think being an independent, that gives them a seat at the table for the playoffs for the CFP. Right. And in going back to what you originally asked,
go ahead.
They're going to go to 16 teams. I'm telling you right now, they're going to have to go to 16 teams, because you are going to have 3 20-team leagues and then the group of whatever. And that's what's going to happen. You're probably going to get 4 teams, 5 teams out of the 3, and then you take whatever out of the other, and that's what's going to happen. There's your playoffs.
We got a perfect example, and we talked about it in the our wonderful Coaches Box group, and that Valley Catholic was in the I-55 with football, but then I think they were MAAA and a bunch of other sports.
Everything else, right? Yeah,
and now I know that many Jefferson County schools were ticked off that they weren't all Jefferson County. If they're going to, you're in. They were supposed to, supposedly, but never did. So Zach's question is a good one. Why does it have to be a whole
every sport?
Now, I think a
lot of it has to do with money. I mean,
exactly.
It's all about money. Anytime we talk about sports at the college and the professional level, it's all about green. It's all about money. That's all it's about. I mean, we got 2 football teams in LA, which is absolutely stupid, but we do, because Stan Kroenke, who I freaking hate, now I'm getting fired up, and it's the same thing in college. It's all about money. Money.
As Dion says, it's all about the bag. It's chasing the bag.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't give a crap about kids that get home at 3 or 4 in the morning and then have to go to class at 8. They don't. Education is not a priority if you're playing D1 basketball or football.
Correct.
I mean, you may be majoring in basket weaving, so it ain't gonna matter.
So
here's going to Mizzou, and he's gonna major in something for real, but he ain't playing sport.
Okay, so I'll play devil's advocate here, Jarvis.
Go ahead, let's do it.
Just for kicks and giggles.
Just to argue with me. Yes,
just to argue, because we have to.
Go to your quarters, gentlemen. Go to your quarters. Come out swinging. Here we go.
Hey, just like Tim Anderson, right?
No. Exactly.
So
I won't even look, Zach, and I'm going to knock your butt out.
So, just to stir the pot, hey, they don't have to play sports. That's one. True. 2, hey, I'm pretty sure they're not in every class like we all had to. There's this wonderful thing called online school that I would be willing to bet the majority of these athletes are taking online classes. So to sit here and say, hey, you know what? I know I'm going to be I got to travel anyway, because another thing we talked about that Kevin and I disagreed with was all this travel time. Hey, you know what? It might take 6-7 hours or 5-6 hours to go from California, East Coast, West Coast. But you know what? The NAI kids, the JUCO kids, the D2, D3 kids, they're going conference games, and they're on a bus, they're on a van, and they're on a van for 6, 7, 8 hours. Because I did it. You did it.
I did it too. I
played in the NAIA and had to go all the way to Graceland, and on the same day in Iowa, and the same day we played. So how early did I have to leave Fayette to get there to play football? And then by the time I got there, I'm like,
yeah. It's and my point is that it's doable. And in today's day and age, it's online. I get the whole idea. To me, part of it goes back to what she said about with the pros about being soft. Hey, you know what? If you can't handle it, then you don't have to do the extracurricular, and you can go apply for student loans and get in thousands of debt.
But I'm a poor guy. I don't have no money. My parents don't have any money, but I'm good enough to get an athletic scholarship to pay for my college tuition. Sure. So I got to play this sport. So
you make it work.
Then you've got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
So, but why should I have to do that and travel coach and all this crap? Well, because the football team makes $200 million. I mean, that's why.
Hey,
I mean,
we
could argue till we're blue in the face. It's all about money.
It is.
People are greedy people.
Here's the bottom line, guys.
Humans are greedy.
Here's the bottom line. You want to know why USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. You want to know why they're in the Big Ten? Fox and ESPN.
I say
because now Fox gets that 11 o'clock window, ESPN gets that 9 o'clock window, and you get a Big Ten game now, especially out on the West Coast. Yeah. Guess what? That package, that media rights deal that the Big Ten signed with Fox and with ESPN has just quadrupled in value by adding those four. Why do you think Colorado is going to the Big 12? Because the Big 12 deal is way better. The Pac-12 screwed the pooch because they couldn't get a media deal. Nobody wanted them. There's only 2 teams in that conference that are worth a garbage.
Well, and the fact that, the majority of the population lives on the East Coast anyway. And so who's going to watch a 9 p.m., 11 p.m. game on ESPN or whatever network?
I will on a Saturday night after a few Crown Royals. I'm not afraid to admit it.
But you're the minority, right?
Sports guys.
I know, and you're right.
Sports guys, but yeah, you're not going to make the money. You're not going to make the money. That's what it's about. It's money.
Jarvis, you brought up LA and NFL. Go back and look at USC and definitely UCLA attendance, attendance at college. That's few and far between. So people aren't showing up on the West Coast, let alone watching on the West Coast.
Well, they're not showing up to the Chargers and the Rams games.
Yeah.
Right. And they want to diss our state and our city because I say it's mine.
Why are we getting him cranked up on Kroenke again?
No.
Why?
You brought up Kroenke. I won't even say Kroenke's name. All I was going to say is Battlehawks had as many people at their stadium as the gosh dang LA Rams and the LA Chargers.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, it's a shame though that college has come to this point. These aren't amateur athletes anymore.
No.
Are they?
No, not at all.
No, not with
now. If you're a softball player, you might be, but if you're a Division I basketball or football player, it's. I just don't. I don't see it as being an amateur athlete anymore.
Here's what I don't like, and more so for the Pac-12, because, like Drink said, college football is going to survive. What I want to be able to do as a college football fan is turn on in my geographical location and see rivalry games weekend in and weekend out. And I don't know going to these eventual mega conferences if you're going to see that, and if you're going to see that on a regular basis, because if you do, let's say you do go to 20 teams, well, you're going to have to revamp the schedule, which means some rivalries, and the SEC already talked about it on their media days, how, we're going to protect our rivalries, but it's going to be once every 3 years. Well, that's the pageantry's there. I don't think the pageantry's going away, but the rivalry factor, the I got you for 365 days that my team beat your team, and you're at the water cooler.
Well, how does that affect Mizzou, Kansas?
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about I mean, I know we're talking football, but
Yeah.
when you think about basketball,
At least basketball is going to play again this year.
Mm-hmm.
At least they're happening. Football, I know they're trying to make it happen. Mizzou and Illinois. Why are we playing? We're playing Memphis. Who cares about Memphis? We should be playing Illinois at the Dome, even though the Dome is just in garbage shape right now. We should be playing Illinois instead of Memphis. They need to get that rivalry back together.
It would be
that's one of the
ticket.
It's not 7, 5.
I'm saying that's what Jarvis would say. And I'll be honest with you.
What?
If you're Mizzou, you probably don't play Illinois.
You don't want to play Illinois right now.
You don't want the recruits going to Illinois, because think about all the St. Louis guys that over the Trinity guys, remember Corey
Patterson. Corey Patterson, who coached at Trinity, went up to Illinois, and I believe he's still there. No, he actually moved up to Purdue. But Corey was there, was getting that pipeline from St. Louis to St. Louis to Champaign was huge. And Drake couldn't get those kids to come to Mizzou.
Now
it's tough.
I think it was Mizzou basketball just signed someone that was or got a commit. It was big, right? Is that?
Yes. I tell you what, Dennis Gates, and I know we're going off script, but the recruiting job that Dennis
That's
Gates,
what we do here.
I know, off the rails.
Off the rails, right?
The job that Dennis Gates is doing is just unbelievable. That Mizzou basketball team will be a top 25 team. I think they'll be awfully close this year, but after this,
you guys got to understand. My son's going to be up there.
Your son's going to be with the antlers in the end zone.
My son,
with all those
if
guys.
He's at Jarvis, he's going to be having some fun. So, I mean, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to cancel a couple Saturday practices this year because Coach Jarvis is gonna have to go up to Mizzou, catch some football,
it's worth it.
Some basketball. I mean, he's already got the ticket for him. He's going to all the home games.
That's cool.
He's coming. The first weekend he plans on coming home is the Memphis game in St. Louis, and I mean, for a kid, my son's been involved in sports his entire life. So, and Mizzou, I mean, you guys know how much of a Mizzou fan I am. So, I think I just ruined my son. That was where he was going. It didn't matter. Jarvis, Mizzou. That's why I hate Blair so much. Kentucky. You live in Missouri, you're from Illinois. How the hell do you end up in Kentucky? I don't know. But
because it's all about John Calipari. It's about Cal. It's about that.
Well, speaking of
Dennis Gates is awesome, and I like Drink too.
Yeah.
But Dennis Gates, he's doing some things.
Doing some stuff right. But speaking of your son going from high school to college, let's kind of transition and go from college down to the local scene.
We can
talk a little bit about, hey, this is first week of fall sports. Everything's going on. Football, soccer, cross country, volleyball, all that stuff's going on. So, I mean,
you mentioned a sport I don't know much about.
Softball.
No,
soccer. I would definitely know more
soccer. Soccer.
a lot of stuff.
Softball, there's an exciting thing. Softball, there's an exciting thing going on between us and Crystal. We're co-oping, and
good.
So the Crystal struggled to put a team out there, and we had limited numbers on ours. So hey, Ken Jones and Jason Gilman, I give both of our ADs props, and they came together and they worked out a plan, and now we're going to co-op with Crystal and give here's the thing. It's about the kids. It doesn't matter about Herky, Crystal, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Crystal's one of our biggest rivalries in other sports, but this is for the kids, and it's good. I'm glad we did it. I'm hoping that Coach Brackage can use some of those Crystal kids, and it helps them.
No, and we did the same thing at Rosati. I mean, we had to, co-op our softball team again this year. And this year we're going to co-op with Cardinal Ritter. Cardinal Ritter's got 7, 8 girls that want to play. Ritter's never had a softball team. And, their AD, Robert Wallace, reached out to me back in the spring, and we started kicking it around a little bit. And so he's got 8 kids. We've got 7 kids. Why not? Let's put this thing together. We're actually
put a team together.
Yeah. And so we're actually going to play our home games over at Harris Stowe, which I'm excited about.
That's awesome too.
Yeah. I mean, Harris Stowe's got a nice little stadium, softball stadium, and it's going to give the kid, I mean, once again, and Jason, you hit it on the head. And I'll preface this and say, in some of the other sports, we're not going to play Ritter anymore. The AAA is going away. We can't be on the same basketball court as Cardinal Ritter girls. We just can't. We can't be on the same court as Lutheran St. Charles. Okay. I know. But we came together and had, it was like, let's make this work for the kids. And I tell you what, the first 3 days of practices, these kids are getting along so doggone well, and they're having fun. And guess what? Like I told the girls Monday when I met with everybody, I don't care if you win a game. Go have fun, learn from your coaches, and we're going to build something pretty cool here. And the girls are buying into that.
Good.
And, I mean, of course, at Hergy, we got that going on with Crystal, but then we got our cross-country team, which is always
going to win state again.
Well, we didn't win state last year. We got second, right?
Going to win state again.
Okay, well,
I'm just telling you, you'll be on the podium at state. Let's put it.
Well, we have some runners. I mean, I'll throw the names that I know. I mean, you got Sam Vaughn coming back, who's been an absolute stud. You got Nate Wright on the boys' side. I'm not familiar with the girls' side, which is terrible for me, but it doesn't matter. Coach Davis puts a product out there. Those kids, they're the hardest working kids in our in. I mean, you have Cass in there that's been there forever, and cross country would be strong at Hergy. Football, I mean, we got a lot to replace, like 12 or 13 seniors we lost. That's going to be a challenge. And I still think we're going to be better than what people think we will be. I mean, because we got some hardworking kids at Hergy. Hergy's blue-collar town, a town where kids work hard and their parents work hard, and I think we'll be all right. And I think we're going to surprise some people on the football field.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. And I'm excited about volleyball. And, volleyball-wise, this, last year we played in 2 tournaments we had no right to be playing in. And so this year I decided to have my own one-day tournament. Well, Herculaneum is going to come up and play in our season opening tournament along with Orchard Farm and Christian.
Hey, so I'll be visiting Rosati then, because
you'll be visiting Rosati. I mean, and that's going to be a fun day. I'll get to see
Jim's office maybe.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get to see my office by the end of the day, because we'll need to see my office by the end of the day. But no,
that's right, Catholic school. Yay!
Catholic school. But no, I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun, and I wanted to put something together really cool for our kids. Plus, to be honest, it's an easy way to make a little bit of easy money. Between concessions, our dad's club's going to do the concessions for us, and so I mean that's the fun part of it, and especially we got 17 girls out for our volleyball team. 8 of them are freshmen, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
And that's so, but I want to go. The one thing I want to mention, and my good friend Scott Harris, he's the athletic director up at Francis South Central. He put a tweet out earlier today, and it's something that drives me absolutely bonkers. And I know we've probably talked about this on the show. Is he had a couple of conversations with kids that weren't playing a fall sport because their club coach told them not to play a high school sport. Why are these club coaches doing this garbage? It's doing the kids a stinking disservice for these club coaches to think they're that high and mighty that they can tell these kids not to play in a high school sport.
Okay, we've talked about this.
I'm gonna
for
let
years.
Zach go on this first.
Go
We've
for it,
talked
brother.
about this for years, and having a kid that's in high school and plays sports, my immediate thought goes to, where are the parents in all of this? Why are the parents not saying, Coach, thanks but no thanks. We're going to let our kid do what they want to do in terms of their high school career. You know what I mean? Like I'm a baseball guy through and through, and it would absolutely devastate me to no end if, one day my son's like, hey, I want to hang him up and I want to go run track because I think maybe that might help be a way that I can go in college. Would I be crushed? Sure. But you know what? I've already gone through my athletic career. It's his. Let him do what he wants to do. Where are the parents? Why are they not getting involved saying, one, I'm not going to spend all of the money that's involved in all of this. Hey, here's an idea. How about I spend a little bit more time with my kid academically, and then they could get that money via academic scholarship rather than athletic scholarship, because that's billions of dollars in academic scholarship. And then I'm going to let the kid do multiple sports and enjoy their high school career.
That's the one thing, and there's a big go around up here, especially in Jason. I know you hate this sport, but anyway, in the soccer community up here, because there's a huge disconnect because the club coaches are basically telling the really, really good players that if you play high school, you can't play club, and the high school coaches are fed up with it. They're tired of this stuff, and so
that's dumb.
It is. It's stupid. And
my daughter played soccer, and that's dumb.
These club coaches don't understand that the coaching on the high school level here in the area is pretty doggone good. How many soccer titles have we won? How many basketball titles have we won? How many football titles have we won? Let's just go down the laundry list. The St. Louis metro area has had the best 3 years of winning state championships than we ever had. And these club coaches think that they're high and mighty and can tell these high school coaches that they don't know what the heck they're doing. Well, and it drives me flipping nuts.
Well, and I'm Jim and Zach, I'm glad you brought this up. It's hard. I mean, I'm a basketball coach first, and that's hard for me to say. I played college football, right? But
right.
I mean, basketball, I've fallen in love since I've become the head coach. I mean, I put, the hours in, whatever. Basketball is my priority, but I'm a varsity assistant football coach. And the amazing amount of time that the last probably 5 to 6 years that we've had to spend to beg kids to not leave or not stay out. Like, we got kids saying, I want to play fall baseball instead of playing football. Or I'm going to play dude, I'm a basketball coach. I'm going to play fall basketball. Well, guess what? My son played fall basketball, but guess what? He played football too. So he had the time to do both. You can do it. Don't quit one sport. And these colleges, if you're wanting to be a big time college player, you got to play at least 2.
Yep.
And if you can, if you play 3 sports, colleges like it even more.
You're writing your own ticket. If you are a 3-sport athlete, you are writing your own ticket to college. And I don't care what level, whether it's NAIA, D3, D2, D1.
Totally agree. I think Dylan, my own son, could have played football, baseball, or basketball, whichever he would have wanted to play. I think he could have got a scholarship, but he decided, I just want to, and I'm fine with it.
That's awesome.
But he could have played, and and especially schools like Herky, Pius.
Okay, here's what I'm going to bring up. And maybe it's the selfish part, but since, and all of you other guys are head coaches, I'll say it. that way it's me, since I'm not a head coach right now, is the difference between these select coaches and the high school coaches is that Jarvis and Chris and Riley and all these other guys, their livelihood is tied together with their coaching.
Right.
Okay. Not only is it 10 to 15% of their check to begin with, if you're not tenured in the public school, it's tied to your job. It's tied to your livelihood. And so what winds up happening is,
well, even if you're not
so I'll
tenured,
just think of this.
even if you are tenured, it's tied.
Okay.
Don't kid yourself.
Okay.
If I go out there and bomb it this year, which this year's going to be rough for me in basketball, I think.
Right.
Man, I'm going to be young. I'm going to play some kids that have no varsity experience.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was at a school where I didn't, where, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think at Herky I'm going to be okay no matter what. But it's going to be, you know, it's transition, and you know, some schools they don't allow that.
Think about this. Since now that he's graduated, we'll use Gabe. What if Gabe would have said, "Hey, I'm not going to do high school basketball. I'm going to go do select basketball." What does that do to you? What does that do to the program? You know, what does that do? It's not this year, it's multiple years. And then all of a sudden the Boo Birds get in and they talk and you have all.
I love Gabe. Gabe. We won a lot of games because of Gabe Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm lucky that senior class had 6 kids counting Gabe.
Right.
You take Gabe out of that, yeah, we're going to lose some games. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I still think I had enough talent to be competitive.
Sure.
But it's not going to be the same. Not going to be the same. You're talking about 18 points,
mm-hmm.
you know, five assists, 5 rebounds, deflections alone. If that was a stat, that dude would have had if he would have said, "I'm just playing 34 hoops," yeah, that would it would have been ugly.
Yeah, you know,
it would have been ugly.
But that's and then again, what's the why? Why? And yes, there are great select coaches and there are great select programs, but there are also some money makers, and there are people that do it, whether it's name recognition or let's face it, it's a money maker sometimes. And so, do you want that avenue versus, hey, you know what, this program over here in high school, they really enjoy it, they want to develop. To me, I've always likened it to, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter if you're playing high school or select, a college is going to find you. You're going to do your due diligence as the athlete and the parent. You're going to go find the college yourself, and you're eventually going to go play.
Oh, Zach, here's it. Since you brought Gabe's name up, and it's hard. I don't like talking about my players, but I will.
He's graduated. I figured that's fair game.
Well, and my point was going to be Coach Walker out of Jeffco didn't have one conversation with me about Gabe. Not one.
That's an issue, and I that drives me absolutely stinking crazy.
Dude, Gabe came to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to sign with Jeffco." And it was early. And I said, "Well, if that's what, you know, you get to stay at home, I get it." And I said at the time, I was like, "It's pretty early, Gabe. Maybe hold out." He's like, "Well, I'm the first recruit. He wants me, blah, blah, blah." Okay. I never talked to him. There was not a phone call, an email, a conversation, nothing. Now, Gabe played for 34 hoops, but I mean, and Dalen Parks does a great job with 34 hoops.
Oh, no, he does. He
is a skill dude. If I could hire him and just let him teach skills to my kids, I would. But there was not one conversation with me, and I coached Gabe for 3 years.
And that's what
they didn't even ask me.
Yeah, and that's
I was like, wow, okay.
I hear that more and more from the
I
high
wasn't
school
mad.
coaches.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, no, I know exactly what you're saying. But once again, I hear that more and more from high school coaches that are, that are saying that these college coaches are circling around them and going to the club coaches and the AAU coaches. That's garbage. I'm sorry. Those AAU coaches are only spending 2-3 months of the year with those kids. What does the high school coaches do? They're spending 6-7 months with these kids. 9 times out of 10, they're in the classes. They're in the school with these kids. They know these kids inside and out.
You're monitoring your basketball kids or your football kids or your baseball kids all year. I'm checking grades all the time. I'm making sure they're going to be eligible. But, with basketball, you got to be eligible both semesters.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like football. You can play football and fail that whole semester. Ain't going to make a difference past spring and you're good. In basketball, you got to pass it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so and then you have summer, you have camps, you have whatever, leagues, open gyms, whatever you do. And I wasn't mad at Walker for not talking to me. I just thought it was weird that I didn't get one phone call to even ask about him.
Right.
Now, I got other coaches that contacted me, email or phone call about Gabe, but not Jefferson College. And no knock at Coach Walker. I guess, Walker saw him play. I mean, Gabe advertised himself. He's a good player. And he'll be an asset. But it was just weird. I'm like, I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, that's good stuff. So, Jim, let's go ahead and wrap this up and, take us out here.
Zach's ready to go night-night.
Yeah, Daddy's ready to go to bed. Daddy's hangry. Daddy needs food and needs sleep. So, but no, great show tonight, guys. Next week, I'm not sure where we're going to be. We'll have it out there. We'll let everybody know. But
next week's going to be rough.
Next week's going to be tough. Jamboree night for you, Mr. Jarvis, on Friday night.
Man, is that Jamboree
Going
next
back to school.
Going back to school.
Jamboree night is next week.
Jamboree night is next Friday
we
night,
didn't talk a whole lot about it, but
we will next week.
My son is going to college, and it's going to be weird.
We will have that discussion. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure. But hey, screw Stan Kroenke.
There it is.
Hey, it's a great show, guys. I'm so glad that us three could actually make time out of our schedules to be here for the show. I know Jim hasn't been here in like 8 weeks, but it's okay. He's here tonight.
You got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. It's that $20 bill.
It probably wasn't 8 weeks, but I just
Venmo.
Okay, maybe
Venmo Jarvis, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll put it out there, Coach Jarvis 67 Gmail.
Oh, geez. Don't do that, because the next thing we know, Jarvis will be at the Apex. That's all we need right there.
Hey, I might go there right now. Good idea.
Atta boy. Oh, shoot. All right, boys. Well, we will see you guys next week. But a great show tonight.
Oh, rail.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get out of here. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Coach's Box. I'm Jim Powers, Zach McVey, Jason Jarvis. The other three are hiding someplace. That's okay. But it's been a great show. We'll see you guys next week. Have a lot of fun. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.